Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have one of your favorites. Chris will always be number one, but I've got Sarah Colonna here. Disagree. Tell that to his face.
No, I would never.
He got a little jealous. We went for drinks. You and me and your husband joined, which is nice to look at someone that cute. And Chris, after we did, Josh Wolf had he has a fun show called, what is it called?
Chaos with Josh.
Oh, he changed the name.
Controlled Chaos.
Controlled Chaos. Anyway, so we
It's
got
at Chaos with Josh.
we got drinks and food after, and I confirmed that we were meeting. And I go, and Chris, you'll have to come, before the end of the month. And he got real snippety about it.
That I was coming on Monday. Yeah.
And
But he's like, he comes all the time too.
I know. I'm like, Jesus. That's a sensitive heart. That's why I don't like it when people start to say that they like someone more than him, and he sees it on the Juicy Scoop Obsessed.
Nobody. No, I think
take it.
Why can't everyone just like people equally?
I don't know, because nobody does.
And by the way, John, so was Heather was talking about as we had a show. It was me, Frangiola, and Heather and on Josh's show. And then we went somewhere by our house afterwards. And John was very concerned, my husband, who was not at the show. I went home and parked my car because it was right by my place where we went. And I picked up John and invited him. And he was very concerned that he crashed. He doesn't want to be like the spouse that shows up to things uninvited.
Oh, really? He
Yeah.
really discussed it after?
Yeah, he was like, "Do you
Why?
think or before?" He was like, I shouldn't come because you guys just did a thing together, and and nobody else's spouses are coming." And I was like, "Well, you just I don't know, I just pulled up right into our driveway. It'd be weird to just walk away and not tell you where I was going."
It was fine. I mean, you guys are a very in love couple. There was like PDA involved and
It's not
I
PDA.
think that's great.
Like we're making out at the table.
No, but there
that's
was
not,
some, and you're
There's
not
no kissing.
newlyweds, so I think that's really nice.
we rub each other's leg or whatever, or put my arm around him.
Or
But there's no making out. Don't make your
there
juicy
was
scoopers
it
think I
wasn't
make
a
out in front of people.
but it was more touching than I see.
Talk about jealous. Somebody else sounds
All
jealous
right,
now.
maybe I am. Maybe I am. Let's quickly talk about the Oscars.
Yes.
So I was on United flying home from D.C., which I had a great D.C. weekend, and my sorority sisters all came there, and we might get to that later. I might save it for Patreon. I don't know. But so I was able to watch on United the Oscars.
Oh, so that's where you watched it. Okay.
Yes. I was lucky enough to be upgraded to first class, but it wasn't a fancy first class. It wasn't like where you get to lay down in a pod or anything. It was just a normal. But I thought, this is the boringest show. And this is what it would be like, essentially, since I was trapped in a seat on a plane and I couldn't really leave, to actually, if I had to sit at the Oscars through the 4-hour show.
Yeah, if you're bored when you get upgraded to first class where you get free champagne and everything, and if you're still bored watching the Oscars, that's a bad show.
I was still going up to CNN and watching like this show about how Bush lost to Clinton. That was more important. That was more interesting to me. And then I'd go back, and then I'd see Elton John was singing. And then Elton John at the end of his thing is like, and to my two boys, I love you. Thanks, who are watching now. And you know what I want to say to people that always say that? To Casey and Mikey, go to bed, guys. You know what? They're not watching you. I guarantee your kid,
Aren't they in London? It was like 1:00 in the morning.
They're not watching you live. Even if I was up for an Oscar last night, I honestly can say I don't think Drake and Brandon would have watched it live.
That's not true.
No, they wouldn't have.
They would have. If you were up for an Oscar, you don't think your kids would stay up to watch?
Absolutely not. They would have acted like they were going to. I would have left. They would have played video games and stuff, and then they would have gone on the DVR and found my portion.
Or just Googled to see if you won.
And then saw that I won and watched it. Why would they have to watch the whole show? They're not stupid.
No, not the whole. Well, that's true, but maybe they'd at least watch.
So me going, so Drake and Brandon, who are currently not watching right now because they're playing Fortnite or whatever, then
that would be funny. That would be funny if you gave that speech. So
that's what I want to do.
Hopefully you're up for an Oscar next year so you can do that.
On my Instagram, I did do a video over the weekend. We had a private luncheon. You know how they always do like luncheons for the smaller winners of things?
Yeah.
It was for the Barbies. And I won for Best Director.
I saw.
I was the only female director to win.
Wow.
And in my speech.
And all female cast, right? Like.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You're doing things,
Trailblazer.
Yeah.
And So in my speech, which I've been practicing since I'm sure you have too, of who you would think when you win for anything, I really wanted to focus on what a lot of people focus on, which is like their tough childhood.
Hmm.
So when I won, I wanted to tell the truth. Like, I'm just a girl who was born south of Ventura Boulevard in a city of millions
Yeah.
and
I could have
a
gotten
short
lost.
drive from Hollywood. How did I make it?
That's a good point.
I mean, these are not dreams that I thought were attainable
Mm-mm.
because it was a solid 32 minutes from Woodland Hills to Hollywood.
And it can be more with when there's traffic.
I was just a girl living in my 4 to 5 bedroom house with my married parents, going to private school, going.
Odds were stacked against you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But I did it.
you did.
I persevered
Good
and I
job.
won. I also wanted to I also thanked in my speech, I almost forgot to thank my editor, Kelly Belko,
Oh yes.
and my costume designer, which is Betsy Wiley. And she, it was her first nomination, first win.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah. So, it wasn't Parasite, but you don't win
It-
4 times.
But it won almost as many awards.
Have you seen Parasite?
Okay, that's what I haven't. It's like the one movie that I haven't seen.
I don't like
and
to read during the
I
movies.
no, I don't either. I really don't, and I know that's so. Subtitles are tough, but
Ugh.
which is so like dumb to say, but like it really like that's probably part of why I have it. But I know it's supposed to be. I'm gonna see it now. I even have a copy at home. Like that's how. I just.
Sometimes
But to be fair, I also didn't see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood until like last week.
I haven't seen it.
It's really good. I didn't actually
felt
know.
it was so long.
I didn't know it is very long. That's why it's nice to watch it at home because you can get up, you can use the restroom, make yourself a sandwich.
I was at Pilates today, and I just said, "Just tell me the secret of Parasite," because I knew there was a secret, like a surprise, like a Sixth Sense or Us. Like,
Oh.
what's the
didn't know that.
wazoo at the end, or what is it really about? So he's like, nobody could tell me what it was about unless you watched it. So then she told me what it was about.
Oh.
It sounds juicy. I'm gonna watch it.
No, I want to see it too. And I mean, obviously, it's really good. And then I loved all the guys' speeches because he was adorable.
Yes.
The winner, he was so happy. So, I just don't, for some reason, I just haven't seen it. But
And then, but with sometimes when I watch a movie that's a very strong English accent, I wish they had subtitles.
well, I went to a play yesterday and they had strong, like, Scottish accents. And sometimes when they sang, and it was Sting, like, Sting was the star of the show.
Yeah.
And sometimes I didn't understand what they were saying. And I was like, am I dumb? But then I mean, I understood most of it. So I got the gist.
All right, a little more on the Oscars. What did you
Okay.
think of Joaquin speech?
I mean, he was very excited. It seemed long.
I noticed that you're drinking what looks to be an iced coffee or iced latte.
It's a cold brew with coconut milk, and I forgot to ask if you wanted
oh,
one.
coconut milk.
Yeah.
Okay, well, good. You didn't take a calf from its mother
Oh, right.
and then steal
right.
her breast milk for your coffee.
Right.
So you are a better person than I am.
It's not that I'm a better person. It's just that I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought it might have been really awkward to go to the Oscar parties after, and then if you were putting milk in your coffee.
Or what if
because
you got a White
he
Russian or something?
specifically shamed people who use milk in their cereal or their coffee. And I just thought that'd be really awkward if, like, you were just getting a cup of coffee because you're like, I want to stay sober for this thing, and you're pouring some cream, and then Joaquin is there, and you're like, hey.
Oh, no, you'd have to just run the other way.
Yeah.
What about like a drink like a White Russian? Can you put it in that?
You can't put, it's a cow's milk. I mean,
Well, he didn't say anything about those, though. He just
Anyway.
said coffee and cereal.
when he brought up that, I was like, oh my God, come on. Now we're talking about baby cows being torn from their mother. Like we're supposed
Happy
to, we're
Oscars,
supposed to-
everybody.
We're supposed to give the cows and their babies a condo by the beach so that they could hang out and live their life together as a mother and a calf should.
But isn't it good for, like, aren't you supposed to get the milk out of them?
I don't know.
don't-
Someone's going to write about it. I know it's like a painful thing. I'm just saying. I thought, I did think it was a bit much. I think
I
people
honestly-
kind of
I
were like,
obviously don't know.
Now you basically shamed anybody that has regular milk. But okay. Then we got Renee Zellweger. What'd you think of her speech?
I liked it. I like her. I do. I like her
noticed- well-
comeback. I loved her and Judy. I thought it was great. I cried a lot. I
And
thought she was really good.
They both were very long, and the music never came on. So did they change the policy for the main people that they could go longer?
I thought that too because I was like, and Joaquin. I honestly kind of forgot what he said about the milk thing because it was so rambly that I was sort of like, I don't know. I might have gotten up and gotten some wine at that point. So glad you
Obviously not
reminded
milk,
me.
but yeah.
No milk in my house. But it was. You're right. They both were long,
Really long.
So maybe they have stopped putting it on. And I feel like they didn't do it to the Parasite guy either.
It was just the boringest show. It was just torture. It was so boring.
I know. I wanted there needs to be. I
And
don't know.
and, it's like
Some
sometimes
dance, something kind at least when Billy Crystal did it right, hosted, there would be kind of
Well-
they weren't always knocked out of the park, but sometimes they'd have those opening, the fake movie.
this is
like,
my
that
thing.
kind of stuff
I
was
bet
kind of fun.
already Kristen Wiig and Maya Rudolph got the
They were
call
funny.
to host it next year.
Yeah,
But I don't know what the ratings are, but I bet they were so bad that Kristen and Maya are like, why would we do a 4-hour show if we can just kill it again and do it for 3 minutes and
They were
still
really
be the
funny.
stars?
they did the Emmys, right? Or did they do the Oscars?
I mean,
They've hosted one.
they've never hosted one. You're
I thought-
thinking of Tina Fey
You're right.
and Amy Poehler. They did the Golden Globes
You're
for a
right.
bunch of years and did great.
Right.
But I mean, imagine how much work it is into it. And then I love that they're like SNL groundlings people, but I know that if it was me too, I and like a Billy Crystal, you're not going to half-ass it. So then there's just so much time and
So much
effort that you
work.
put into it.
And you're in front of everybody.
Right.
Yeah, they would. I'm sure they've. If they're going to ask someone, that's who they should ask.
They should ask them, but as their friend, which they don't know me, but I would say, why bother, girls?
Yeah, they probably feel the same way, don't you think? It
Just-
just seems thankless.
Go listen. We'll do 2.
But for
just what
us-
you say. We'll do. I'll do 2 presentations, but I'm not hosting the whole thing. That's what you say.
Yeah, or they'll open it or do something
Yes.
funny to open it.
But we don't want to be on stage more than a total of 10 minutes.
But that's the thing that I feel like is missing when there's no host is just some sort of something to break it up.
Streamlined too.
Yeah, to
like
make it a little fun.
A theme. Okay, let's get into some other. Now you wanted to talk about hold on. You wanted to talk about The Bachelor and some juicy scoop that's happening. There's rumors. We don't know if it's true, but it's happening.
It seems unlikely.
I'm going to get into that in a minute.
okay.
Keep going. Talk about The
Well,
Bachelor for a
so
minute.
I saw it today because Reality Steve posted it, and then I saw, and
Okay.
it's been going around. He said, this is all bullshit, is what he says.
Oh, he doesn't believe it's true.
No, he doesn't believe it. They're saying that the reason nobody knows who the winner is because he ended up with one of the producers.
And is Reality Steve saying who the winner is?
No, he still doesn't know, and he's like, "This is
So
people
this is
just
the first time though that he has not known
yes,
for the last 10 years.
yes,
Because I interviewed him and he said that he has had a source this whole time telling him, and he's always been right. And you are someone that goes to the end of the book and reads the last 2
yeah."
pages.
I love the spoilers.
And you also do that with The Bachelor. So
Yes.
all these years in watching The Bachelor, you started the season knowing who won.
yes, and it makes me enjoy it more.
Really?
Yeah, I enjoy it more that way because then I'm
Interesting.
because then I see and I'm but then it's hard for me to watch it with other people, so because I just don't comment because I don't want to give it away for them.
Right.
You
Well,
know?
the other rumor for The Bachelor is that along the way, weeks before the fantasy suite, we might see it tonight, maybe the following week, he bones a contestant on a non-fantasy night date. And that
Oh.
girl finds out she's pregnant. And
What?
that is the other rumor.
What?
And then that's
Well,
why
I
the
haven't
mom,
heard that rumor.
that's why the
good.
mom is saying, go and get our girl. Why would she care that much if she only met her once?
I know,
Unless she
but-
was carrying their grandchild.
But but the thing is, the way they edit that, I mean, that could be a conversation where she's saying, and then your dad's mom said to him,
Right,
go and
you're
get that
right.
girl. It could be nothing to do with him
Totally
because they
true.
do that a lot. I feel like
But him
misdirects,
crying
it's
and it
called in the
being
business.
the craziest thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know.
I mean, I'm hoping for it. I don't think God's going to grant that wish, but I think that it would make for
I
really
hadn't
juicy
heard the
because
pregnant
you
one.
could know that you're. I mean, when my sister was going through fertility, she knew if she was pregnant like after 10 days. So I don't know that you could know from pee on the stick, but the tests are finding
No,
out
they
sooner.
do. I feel like they do. Like I've seen commercials where they're like, you
find
can
out
find
really
out
quick.
Yeah.
So it could be because it's a few, And
I
saw
hadn't heard
one
that
preview
one. That's
where one
juicy.
girl, they show her like rolling on him and stuff, and we know he's very sexual. That even though he looks like a little milk and cookies boy, that obviously we all know he boned 4 times in the windmill, but. The girl goes, I don't want you being with anybody else now that you've been with me. I saw one type of preview like that early on.
I could see that. That's crazy if that's what it is. If he actually
So
got
they
someone
think, and then the
preggo.
other rumor is that it's just this producer girl. But then I went to her page and it was like 5 back, and she was just like excited for this, excited for you guys to see the season. It was her with a pilot.
I guess, and then they had so Reddit, like, because then after I read it, I
Yeah.
went in and like I guess it's all on Reddit, and someone posted like there was a screen like she was at New Year's Eve, and
Yeah.
then he was like standing behind her, but she's also always with other contestants from the show, like she gets it. So I really don't think that's it, because like when would he even have time to fall in love with a producer when he's like? It just
Well, remember
seems
there
like
was that
far-fetched.
one season where, what was it? A girl got together with a male producer, and yeah, I think it could happen.
I guess it
I
could,
don't know.
but I hadn't heard the pregnant one, so I'll have to. Yeah, Reality Steve debunks the producer one, and I trust him pretty much. Not that he knows who did win, but I think he just thinks like there's
Well, if
no
he
way
doesn't know
this
who
is.
won this time, then whoever that source was, they finally found out that she was telling Reality Steve, and that girl's gone.
Yeah,
So
or maybe
interesting.
he hasn't picked anyone yet.
Oh, you think they're doing something weird where
I
they
don't
give him
know.
a
I think
break to
maybe-
go home?
I
to
think
be with
maybe
his
he hasn't
parents?
picked up someone yet or something. And then what if he's going to pick them like live on the show, and that's where nobody knows. Live.
I
on
mean, it
after
would
the
be fun to
final
change
rose.
up something a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe they did it on yeah, I don't know, or maybe he.
I
just
also
didn't
think
know.
like if you're the girl and they're like, okay, so be ready at 7:00, you'd be like, I won. That's late, and they're still gonna want the light.
right.
If they're like, be ready at 3:25,
you lost.
you absolutely lost. What are you doing going at 3:25?
Well, maybe they
There's not even
started.
a sunset involved.
Maybe they started early in the morning so that nobody knows.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really thought of that. If you get the phone, the late phone call, or the
Also,
early
if they zoom in on your shoe, that means you're getting the boot.
oh really?
Yes, because you never know, who's going to be first to get rejected.
Right,
So the first person stepping out, they zoom in on the shoe,
right.
and
show
then
the
they
shoe
pull up,
coming.
and you're like, "Oh, Sarah didn't get it. He's choosing Heather."
right.
And then Heather rolls up at 7 at night, and they just zoom in on my face. We don't need to see the shoe. We know
Right.
it's Heather.
Because we always but that's
Yeah.
only the audience. Like we always know who won after they show the first person because we know that person gets ditched.
Right.
But
so
maybe
that's
this
why
time they
if
both
you're
do.
the person and you open the door and maybe you think 3:25 is the later time.
And there's a camera at
and
your
there's
shoe.
a camera at your fucking foot.
You're out.
You are out. So don't even
These are hot tips for future
be
contestants.
right. It just came to me. I didn't even think about that, but I just was thinking about all the
That's
times
very
I've
true.
seen it. This is some really disturbing news in the world of motherhood. Amber Rose, gorgeous face.
Yes.
Gorgeous girl.
Yes.
Curvy. She has one baby with Wiz Khalifa. She just gave another to an adorable boy that, like you see on the commercials, he's eating Oreos with his dad, Wiz. She got pregnant with some other guy's baby and had another beautiful boy. She's no stranger to the tat life.
No.
Okay, tattoos.
Yep.
This
That-
is a horrible trend of people getting, tattoos on their face.
Is that the new?
I blame Post Malone because he's really just like a singing delight. Like a grandmother could like his music.
Yeah.
And yet he's got all this tattoo stuff on his face. So I now think people are thinking this is a normal thing that anyone can go do. And she just got on her forehead, on her beautiful face, her 2 kids' names.
Yeah. I mean, she has such beautiful skin. I mean, to each their own, but don't tattoo your face. So to each not their own. I say don't do it.
Now, I think she's such a person that's always like on her Instagram going, "Oh, I'm getting laser skin, I'm getting Botox." Do you think that people like her just think, I've kind of fallen off in the limelight a little bit, even though she has a million Instagram followers? I feel like we don't talk about her as much.
Right.
And so she's like, I'm going to get these tattoos on my face. I know it's 2020, LA, lasers. I can eventually get them taken off.
Can you? Like fully though? 'Cause
No,
it's
I
gonna
don't think
scar.
you can. I
Yeah.
think it's a horrible idea.
Like I think
but
you
do
can lighten
think
them, but your
in
face.
her head, she's thinking, eventually I could get
This
them
will
taken
get a
off.
lot of people.
Or is she thinking in her head, no, these are my children's names and they're forever going to be.
I think that's
Or
it.
do you think she's such a shitty parent she might forget her kids' names?
And so
she
has to look in the mirror.
Because I call my kids the wrong name all the time. I'm always like, I'll go Brandon, Drake. So sometimes I just call them Drandon.
I know,
and
but
that's Drake meets Brandon, and it's one name, and then I don't fuck it up.
you still know their names. You just you don't necessarily call them by the right name
don't.
to their face.
I oftentimes mix up the names, but if I
Right.
was looking in the mirror to remind me each day that I wake up, maybe I wouldn't fuck it up.
Well, do it.
I might do it. Go to my Instagram and
Why don't you get Drandon? Get Drandon put across your forehead as a shout out to both, as an homage to both of them. Yeah, or break.
I just think I'll do both because they deserve to each have their own name.
Just do
Drake
on the
is
inside
less
of your
letters
wrist or something.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I want to be what the kids are doing.
What about one right above each boob?
Oh. I always thought that must be so hard. Like if
That would
one of my
hurt.
kids showed up and wrote like, "I love you, Mom," and had it on their chest, it's like you're flattered. Like, thank you. That's all a mom wants is to hear that your kid loves you. But you're like, really on a tattoo version?
Yeah.
Like
What if they did it on like their lower back, like a tramp stamp? What if Drake showed up with a little tramp stamp above his, right above his
Just
butt?
I love you,
and
Mom.
said, I love you, Mom.
Oh my God. He when he was leaving today, I said, I love you. And then he's like, oh, I forgot something. So then he went and got something else. And I go, I love you. And he's like, already said that. So I don't think he's getting tattooed. I love you,
No.
Mom. He's already annoyed that he had to say it once today. Okay.
Yeah.
Here she's just happy as can be.
I mean,
Here's another
she is beautiful.
disturbing. You know who this gorgeous kid is?
No.
Cindy Crawford's model son.
What? Look at those
Yes.
eyes.
He's absolutely stunning. He has a tattoo under his eye, misunderstood. What are we misunderstanding? That we took you for a beautiful model when you're really, that grew up in Malibu with your $1 million, billion-dollar parents and your
Maybe he wants you to,
restauranteur dad?
maybe he wants you to think there's more to him than that.
Right, exactly. I guess that's why he's saying he's misunderstood, that he's actually, he was born in the wrong Malibu home. He should have been born a little more inland.
He should have been born south of Ventura like you. And, I mean, he is really gorgeous.
So
Like,
this
look
is
at
my
those
story.
eyes.
I met him many years ago. And
How old is he?
oh, look, his shirt says the Antisocial Social Club, I think it says. Oh, God, shut up. He's got tattoos on his fingers, a tattoo, a big flower on his hand, a neck one, something under it, another one on the neck, and now under the
someone's
eye,
name, right, on
under
that
the
one?
cheekbone, right on the cheekbone is misunderstood in capital letters. Now, is it because his sister was dating, what's his name? What's
Who?
the Pete Davidson?
Oh, right.
Do you think that rubbed off on him?
Maybe.
I mean, tattoos don't rub off. They're permanent.
Not
But I'm saying like the thought of it rubbing off.
if you get a fake tattoo, they rub off.
Which, why not? Okay, so this is my story about him. I was at the Malibu Mart. Drove a solid 45 minutes to get there. I didn't know what I was going to do with my kids. And I was like, let me go to the Malibu Mart. And there's like this little play area. And I don't think I had Brandon yet, but I had Drake. Or maybe Brandon was a baby, but Drake was maybe like 3. And he was probably like 4.5. And her son. What's this kid's name? The son? Gerber what? Randy? No. Randy's the dad. Look up the son. Anyway, he had blonde, very blonde hair. And so did my son Drake. And he was so gorgeous. And of course, I see Cindy there. And so I did this thing that's so lame. I tried to act like what's his name? Presley. Cute name.
It was a good name.
And so I'm acting like I'm just a Malibu model mom too, with my blonde son, like as if we live there. And I see her, and so then I was like, I have to start a conversation. Like I've always thought that Cindy and I would be friends if we'd met
I could see that.
because she's a tall brunette, chocolate-eyed model,
Mm-hmm.
and she was really like the first of my kind, where I could like identify with. Oh my God, she wasn't a blonde, blue-eyed model. She was like the first brunette. So I understand why diversity is needed in this world.
Okay. Yes.
So anyway, I say to her, I go, oh my gosh, I go, your son has hair just like my son. Where do you get his cut? And she's like, oh please. Like they're like $500 haircuts from professional hairdressers when I go to work. I just have them do his hair too. And I go, oh.
Oh.
So we didn't not exchange
That was it?
numbers or have a play date. She's probably like,
Oh.
oh God, this dumb mom's trying to be my friend like every other mom. I'm not. What do you think? I go to, Supercuts or Pinwheels and Popsicles and haircuts
Well,
or
she
what?
could have just said it a little nicer.
She could have. It was disappointing. But I was trying to be her friend for the wrong reasons.
So she could see right through you. You
Yeah,
feel
she
like?
could see absolutely right through me. And she's like, our boys aren't going to hang out together. And you know what? Thank God. Look at your fucker over there with all. You imagine if this was Drake's best friend?
Oh my
Imagine they become best friends.
What if
Because
Drake
she-
gets one that says understood? Would you at least be proud that he felt understood?
And then he's just like, hey, Presley and I are going to go and go get some new tats. And Drake comes home and it's just, I love you, Mom, on his cheek.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that she shut it down. Maybe she knew.
Yeah, she was like,
that
this
he was
kid's
going to
bad.
grow up to be a little Malibu thug. This seriously reminds me. Remember Jamie Kennedy's movie?
Yeah.
where he played like a thug rapper, but he was in Malibu, but it was like Malibu or what was it?
Yeah, what was it called? It was called
Living in the
something.
Boo or
Yeah.
something. It was like,
That's
oh.
really funny. I mean, he's still handsome though with the face
Well, of
tattoo.
course he's gorgeous.
How old is he?
He's like 20, and then the younger girl is only 18. The one, and thank God they broke up. She and the Pete Davidson.
Oh, right.
Joe Gorga, of Melissa Gorga's husband of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, is doing stand-up at the Improv. He's got a bunch of dates. He's doing it with other stand-ups.
Who is he doing it with?
One of the shows I saw, which is the one at the Newark one or the one in New Jersey, that the Levity Live in New Jersey, Tammy Pescatelli's on there, and I know
Oh, okay.
her.
Yeah, I like
so I
Tammy.
thought I'd call her and ask her how it goes. Listen, he's very, very nice, and I met them and I hung out with him, and he was very interested in talking to me about my career, which at the time I thought this is the nicest, most interested Real Housewife husband there is. But now I realize why, because he was like interested in doing stand-up.
But that's kind of still
No,
cool.
it's still
that
very
he was-
nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, I wish
But,
him well.
I mean,
Look,
he's actually really handsome. I like in that hit photo.
he
I forgot that
is
he's
very handsome and
Yeah.
he's very charming, and it'll be curious to see. Look, everybody can do with the proper class and training. Everyone can do like a 10-minute.
I disagree.
Not everybody, but if you had someone help you write your act and you already have some showmanship, I think that he could probably have a decent 8. He probably is only going to do about 8 minutes.
If someone's like helping you write it,
That's what I'm
true.
saying.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you? He built a
Or
studio.
maybe he's super funny.
He built a studio for Melissa when she had her song on display, on display. Everybody sees me on display. And then
Hopefully
his niece,
he is a better writer.
and then his niece did her other hit song. Hey, it's me, Melania. Tay-Tay and Shay K are going shopping. We're not chasing boys. We're chasing checks, popping tags. I don't want to grow up. I'm only getting older. Mama said it wouldn't be easy, but I'm going to grow up anyway.
Wow.
That's her song.
A beautiful song.
That is her song. We'll play the
Well,
real one.
I already like it better than the other one, though, than Melissa's.
On display, on display.
But
Anyway.
I mean, you know how it is when somebody, like, later in life starts trying to do stand-up. I mean, even younger, whatever. But you know when someone's just like, I think I can do stand-up, it can be kind of annoying.
I have,
As someone who, like, has worked
as
hard
someone
on
who's
it.
worked our asses off, and
I'm not
really
getting booked at Levity Live. They don't book me.
and doing all the work. Look, but I also don't want to be that person that, like, is ever negative about someone following their dreams.
No, of course.
And,
And it sounds like since he
look,
was
the one
asking you
that,
before, he's
yeah.
actually like really thought about it.
And the one, no, he wasn't saying he wanted to do it, but looking back, I think he was like asking like, how do you come up with your stuff? How do you remember it? So I think he was like genuinely like interested in the way that like, hey, and
in that photo, he looks like
he
you know
looks
what
like
I mean?
he's ready to. It's a great stand-up photo.
Yeah, it is. It looks like like a David Tell or like a what's his face like a shit. What's the guy's name? I can't think of.
Well, look, the first
but
show,
he looks like guys that I've seen.
The first show, he's got a bunch of other comics on it. It's sold out. For other comics that are great comics that don't have a following like his, that's fun to be on a show like that. So, Melissa's going to be in the audience. Tay and I'm just kidding.
Is it going to be all in New York, New Jersey?
It's all in. He's got like 6 states, and I looked, and they're all like in that East Coast area. So I want to know how it is. If someone goes, let me know. I wish him the best, and the other people that are doing it with him. And
Tammy will tell us how it goes.
Yeah, and then hopefully it'll go good. And
she's super funny, so if people are going, you get to see Tammy too.
Near that area, and he's available, I would let him open for me. Why not? Like that's fun. That's my audience would be interested in seeing it. So
it makes sense too with your audience because they know, like they would get like all of his if he had jokes about that stuff and everything too. Like Juicy Scoopers would love him if he talks. I don't know what he talks about. I don't know if he talks about any of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe it's an act about just like being a dad and grocery shopping, and maybe it's nothing inside. But his brother-in-law, Joe Giudice, has also taken my career, and he has a podcast like every other person on earth. And his show actually says, "I'm going to give you the inside juicy scoop."
He says Juicy Scoop? There's zero chance that he hasn't heard of he knows about your podcast.
But it's not called Juicy Scoop. It's called The Real Inside Scoop, I think is the name of the podcast. But in the description, get ready to get the real inside Juicy Scoop or something like that. So a couple of my people were a little annoyed. I am not.
I say you sue him.
I think I'll be okay.
I say you sue him.
If it cross references and someone is trying to find his podcast from Italy and they come across mine.
That's true. If they Google Juicy Scoop, yours is coming up way first.
Yeah, accidentally.
Okay, that's a good way to look at it. I like the positive spin that Heather has today. The positive spin on someone stealing your shit.
It's okay. I'm trying. It's a new Heather. It's a new decade. It's a new year. I can't.
Are you going to stop drinking milk?
No, I'm not. But I do like almond milk. But I also like regular milk. But I mean,
now I have to look up
if
what
all
the deal
of a sudden
is.
A doctor said only have almond milk, fine. But my kids like 2% regular milk.
But now they say you can't have almond milk because it's bad for the environment because it takes too much water.
Because it takes 10 billion gallons to take one almond and make it milk.
That's why I have coconut milk, but I'm probably going to find out that that's some bad too.
I like coconuts.
Well, there you go.
But what about the coconuts that have been torn from the tree and they weren't ready to come down yet?
You're fucking them over.
I don't know. We also.
Oh my God. I can't even look at this photo.
90 Day Fiance. And we love Pillow Talk, which has our favorite David and Annie on it. A lot of people were very disturbed last night watching Pillow Talk because it looks like David got some severe, not severe, but he got his hair plugs done.
Right.
Which I think is, it involves needles and I assume some scabbing. And that's what we see in this photo.
I have zero problem with someone who wants to get hair plugs, but just maybe stay off TV for that week or two. Maybe wear a ball cap. Can you wear a ball cap? Maybe you're not allowed to.
Or what about a little beanie?
Just anything.
Just wear the beanie and say, "Oh, our air, our heat is out" or something. But they do live in Phoenix, so that would have been hard.
Or just say, "I got hair plugs, and I'm going to cover them because if I take it off, it's like he's obviously not trying to hide it."
I guess he's not trying to hide it, and there's no way he was going to give up an
episode. It just looks super painful.
Pillow Talk, yes.
That photo.
And also, I kind of feel like, really, do you guys still need to get hair plugs? Like, I think a bald head is just fine.
Men are very, very weird about their hair. They're not weird, but very concerned about it. And I agree with you. I think that men can go bald much, obviously,
It's like the best time to be bald right now in the history of bald men.
But my husband is very concerned all the time about his hair because he has a receding hairline.
He does? I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I don't really notice it either. I don't really think I just think that's his hairline.
Yeah.
But he puts stuff on it every day and is very concerned about it.
Okay.
So guys are concerned.
Has he tried biotin? I heard that's great.
I don't know.
What about
He squeezes something on there every morning. I don't know what it is. I'm sure he really appreciates me talking about it, though. But
well,
men are. I get it, but like also just maybe time it out with like when because Pillow Talk's not on 24/7, right? Around like 365.
well, I think the deal happened. I'm sure he got free plugs, and he'll probably talk about it. They're very like he is really when he was here. I mean, he is taking this opportunity and using it
As
for
he should.
all it's worth, as he should. They're like going around making food at events.
Whatever gets them out of living out of that.
They don't
Firehouse
and
or-
they don't. They live in a normal place in Phoenix.
Yes.
Not a firehouse, one that I assume they are leasing themselves. So good for them. Have you what do you think of the Jessica Simpson book? Have you read any of it?
I haven't read it. I haven't read it. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna read it. I have a longer flight this week, and I'm gonna read it.
Well, I started to read it.
How is it?
It's good, but when Kelly was grilling me about it, I pretty much do agree that I think all the juicy stuff has been revealed in articles and stuff.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is have I found everything out already?
Well, the one thing I hadn't heard yet, and then I found like 10 articles on it, was that when she went out for the Mickey Mouse Club, they said, okay, we really like you. We're going to bring you back. But in the meantime, we'd like you to go and take some acting classes. And we found an acting school near you, and it's the Chuck Norris School of Acting.
Shut the fuck up.
No. This part I thought was like the funniest. Like, and look, I'm sure she had someone help write it, but like she does have a funny personality. Like when she looks back on things, it is kind of funny. And so he said, the thing about acting, he really went and taught at some of the classes. And I don't think people think of Chuck Norris as being like a great actor. I think of him as like the Nordic track and stuff. And also he was like Kung Fu guy,
more like
right?
action stuff. Yeah.
So he says Denzel Washington is the greatest actor because when he talks, he never moves his eyebrows. Now, this was, 25 years ago. Now nobody moves their eyebrows because of Botox.
Right?
But at that time, Chuck Norris thought that was a sign of really good acting. So he said, you move your eyebrows too much to Jessica. So they had to put masking tape on her face. And she's like 10 or 12. They put masking tape on her face so that she wouldn't move her eyebrows.
Okay. I don't understand that. Like, I would think that expression actually helps you act, right? Like,
Yeah.
I got a little too much Botox, like 2 years ago, right before I went, because I got it around my crow's feet.
Yes.
And I get it in the middle because I had a deep 11 there.
Right.
And so I don't get too much. I just get enough so it doesn't get deeper, and I don't, whatever. I like it. So I got it before I started filming Insatiable. I got it like on the top of my forehead. But I already have like kind of heavy eyelids, and I hated it because I felt like I couldn't I felt like I wasn't able to express the way I wanted to. And so I waited for it to wear off, and I never did it again there because I was like, that makes me uncomfortable. I feel like I don't know if anyone could notice or what. I mean, luckily it was like wore off before we actually started shooting, so that was good because I would have been even more self-conscious probably. But I was like, I don't like the way it feels.
Well,
so.
I go to Dr. Kasabian at MD Lift in Beverly Hills. Check it out. He's a very good Instagram. That's how I discovered him. And I've been going to him for a couple years. And I do go in and I say, give me half of what you give a regular person.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you look great. And I do. And I'm
you don't
still
want too
able to
much,
move
or
a
you
little
like-
bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, Botox is an amazing invention, and filler and everything, all of that. And it just is a matter of like using it right.
Doing it too much or not. But I would just like, I don't understand Chuck Norris's beef with being able to make expressions. It just seems like a weird thing to like tape a 10-year-old's eyebrows down. Unless she had like some weird thing where she was always like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like maybe she had some sort of, if she was constantly moving them too much.
Well, I've said that I think there's certain child actresses that have raspy, mature voices will work more than other
Well,
actors.
I didn't work when I was a kid. And I got a fucking raspy, deep voice. I got no
But
work.
like Lindsay Lohan, that's my theory.
Wait, not to change topics, but just on the child actor thing.
Yeah.
Did you see that Peter, the pilot Peter,
Yes.
was like in a Sylvan Learning Center commercial too?
Yes, someone posted that. Yeah.
And he looks exactly the same, by the way, which is weird.
Which just goes to show you that he's had a desire to be in front of the camera his whole life. He wasn't plucked from the Westlake Village Inn,
Right.
as he was going off to a flight.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, you're right about
how do you feel about Peter the pilot?
First of all, he's very handsome. I think he wears a tan really well. He has a very nice complexion. I don't know if I think it's a real tan. I'm fascinated by it every time I see it.
He's in Costa Rica, so I mean, I guess he could get a little color.
Yeah, he always looks, he's very nice looking. He has a nice smile, but he seems very, very indecisive, like really indecisive and really influenced easily by.
And I think he's also very insecure. Like, he's like, I'm so afraid that at the end of this, the girl that I like won't like me back.
Well, yeah,
so
'cause
that's
he just
why
went
he
through
keeps,
the Hannah thing.
Yeah, but that's why he's like constantly like any girl that he likes, he's like, you have to promise me that you're like completely into this, and we'll say that you love me in 3 weeks, and if I ask you, you'll marry me. So you better promise right now. Some of the girls are like, well, maybe let me have a freaking minute.
Yeah.
You know? So
because he was so into that Victoria P, the blonde, and
Yeah.
and then he was he basically was like, I don't think I like you anymore. Like a week later,
I
know that like chaos happened or whatever with the other girl, and they knew
he's
each other.
cute. I wish he had more pectorals.
Yeah, I could see that.
There
Maybe
and
he should do some push-ups.
and doesn't have a great and a little more chiseled face, but that could just be baby face.
Well, he looks really young, and
Yeah.
but he's like he's not old by
but
any
he's
means.
pretty young. I think he's
But-
only like 26 or 7.
Yeah,
But he looks
was
even
closer,
younger than
he
that.
was closer to 30 than I thought he was. Like I thought he was like 23,
Right.
but he's.
What did you
like-
think about his parents that used that they got a vow renewal out of it on TV?
I mean, I say, good
I
for
thought
them.
it was the most genius thing I'd ever heard of.
I mean, I'd say that's a good thing for you to try to push Drake and Brandon towards. And
I
then
never
you
even
get you-
thought of that.
Yeah.
When I've been pretty much, I think the only chance I'm going to get back on TV is if one of them gets chosen as the Bachelor, and then they have to come home, and I get to meet all the girls. And they have agreed that if they were asked to do it, they would do it so that I could get on TV.
That's nice of them.
Because they know the other choice is divorcing their dad and getting on Love After Lockup,
right.
or finding a 90-day fiance. So they're like, we don't want you to get divorced, but we'll do this.
Well, and they also just don't want you to date a prisoner, probably.
Right. But
Right.
I mean, I have said, look, what do you know, this is what I'm going to do. So when I saw that, I'm like, they worked out a freaking vow renewal, and it wasn't even like a 20th or a 30th. It was like 32 years of marriage or something,
Yeah.
which made you go, this is completely because you want to. The Cuban mom wants to be on TV too, and I don't blame her.
Or
But
she
that's
just was, or she's like, if I'm going to have to be on TV, I better get something nice out of it.
right.
You know, something for me where it's not just about you.
Well,
It's
I don't
been
think-
about you your whole life, Peter Pilot. Remember when drove you back and forth to the Sylvan Learning Center auditions? Now I want my fucking piece of the pie. That's what
Do
she
you
said.
think that he got the audition? I mean, that he got the part of Silver Learning because he tried out and he had an agent, or do you think he really had to go to the Sylvan Learning Center? And we're going to
No.
find out that he's a little. I don't think a pilot could be dyslexic. Maybe they could, but when we find out maybe he struggled with reading?
No, I don't think they ever cast anyone except actors. Even when they say they're not actors, they're still actors.
You're probably right. Well, that would be juicy. What if that's what he's crying about? She found out that he had a learning disability and she was being a bitch about it. There's no way though. The pilot, he even if he may have when he was little, but to be a pilot, I would think you'd have to be really
Yeah, you'd have
Smart.
to pass enough.
yeah. So I don't think that's the scandal.
No.
No, I don't think
it's
that's
more,
the
it's
scandal.
more likely that he's with the producer than that.
Okay, so speaking of 90 Day Fiance here.
Yeah, get that photo off the screen.
Okay. We were at the end of the season now, and let me see. We'll just keep him on there because that's what we're talking
Oh,
about.
Jesus.
And a lot of weddings happened.
Yes.
Okay, the beekeepers married each other.
Just in the nick of time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He came back, Marcel, who doesn't speak any English. So did they have to do the vows with the iPhone?
Probably.
Yeah. The kids were not happy about it.
I didn't see the actual episode last night where they got married.
So this
just know that these
beekeeper
are-
from Turkey met another beekeeper from Nebraska, and she had 3 kids, and he never told his parents that she had 3 kids. So once he did, they said, "Come back here." And
She's
so
using you, is what they were saying. Like what?
and so then he did. He cried and went back. And then he went home and was like, what am I doing? I just gave up being American and being on a TV show, and they have better bees in America.
They have much better bees.
And so he said, forget it. And then the parents were like, I guess you're right. Like, Okay, go.
Remember when they broke up, how dramatic it was?
Oh my God, he kept running back. He kept going,
he was
Anna,
like,
Anna. And then he'd run back. And
And
then
he
he'd
was
be
like-
like, and she's like, are you staying? And he's like, no.
he was like grabbing her legs and crying. It was
They're
like, it
crying
was
so
like,
hard.
I mean, it was literally like me and my high school boyfriend breaking up. Like that dramatic.
So do you think they're going to make it? Do you
No.
think they're going to stick together like bees to a honey?
Like like a bee to a hive. What is
Yeah.
it? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, first of all, it's not a good start if you're trying to hide someone's children because you're about to be their stepdad.
Right. Well,
So
I
if
don't
you're
think
not
that's what they.
super proud of them, then that seems weird. And the one kid likes him, and then the other one hates him.
Yeah, but at least he can't. You always hear about like teenage boys that hate their stepdad because they're like, "You're not my dad. Don't tell me what to do." But he won't be able to tell them what to do because he doesn't speak English.
Right. That's true. I mean, that's
So they'll be
an
like, as long as he
advantage.
just like makes honey jars in the back, like
Just
I don't
hangs
really
out with
care.
the bees and leaves me alone.
Leaves me alone. Then
Do you think he ever says, "Hey, it's none of your beeswax"? What I'm up to?
yes, I do. But he has to do it with the Google
Sorry,
app
sorry,
on the
juicy
phone.
scoopers.
On the phone, he has to do that. Blake and his wife got married. Blake is the recording artist, and she's
Oh,
the
right.
girl from Finland who never wants to have a job.
Right.
They got married, and then Juliana,
I love that she's like, I just want to live life
Yeah,
and do yoga and
maybe I'll post, maybe I won't.
yeah.
Post
I mean,
what? Social media. She was even lazy about social media.
yeah.
Even
like,
that, she was like, oh, not more than once a day.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like, what do you? I can't imagine what your plan is exactly when you're like, I don't know what I want to do. I just, I just want to relax. Like you're pretty relaxed already. You don't fucking
so
have
she
anything to
knew
do.
get married.
Yeah.
She got married. The other Anna and the Uber driver, he and his son got matching braids for the wedding ceremony, and they got married. And his son, his mother-in-law, but whatever, his baby mama of that boy is this woman Diamond Fox, and she is a porn star.
Right. And they did get married.
They got married
okay.
last night.
Okay.
And then this next week will be the reunion, and they like come on.
Surely they're gonna fight because the last time we saw them was they were like trying to offer her money to
right.
leave.
And I really want to.
Did they go to the
more.
wedding?
I don't think they went to the wedding, and I
Also,
really want to see more of Diamond Fox.
I do
Yes.
too. And other than the fact that obviously they want her on the show, but I'm like,
Yeah.
why is the baby mama's mom involved in anything to do? Like, why are they sitting out? Like, why aren't you sitting down to dinner with your own parents? Why are you sitting down to dinner with your baby mama's parents? Like, it has nothing.
Because the baby mama's missing. Who knows where she is?
Yeah.
Obviously not doing great.
No.
And I think the porn star mom does supplement the Uber driver's, bank account in some
Right.
ways. And I think they're helpful to the boy. And they're
she
actually
wanted to probably just be on and get some.
Yeah, she wants to be on TV. And I mean, she's no stranger to being on TV, obviously. Well, not TV, but And but he also has 4 other kids.
Right.
And so after the wedding, she's like, she goes, what do you want to do now? And she's like, have 10 kids. He wants to have 10 kids. He's like, I never said that. She goes, well, I want to have 5 and you already have 5. So we're having 10. And he's like, hell no, I don't want a bunch of little kids running around. I'm like, well, you already have 5 running around.
And are they with all different?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he only has the one because all the other mothers, I guess, are not fucked up and are raising their kids.
And they don't want
Yeah.
to be on the show. Well, here's the Diamond Fox.
Really? Okay, let's get into Love After Lockup.
Oh
Or
God.
Life After Lockup is really what we've been watching.
Yeah.
And we get to see some of our favorite couples continue on with their fabulous lives.
Angie and Tony.
Tell me about Angie and Tony.
Well, she made a list for him recently. This might have been a couple episodes
Yes,
ago.
the
but
list
so I
is
don't know if you
amazing.
yeah, but she was like, if you're going to be back in this house, you're going to have to follow some rules. And she made a list, and the first thing it said, no prostitutes. And then no money or something. Like she's not giving him
Yeah.
any more money. She hangs it all on the
no,
refrigerator.
she says, I check your phone.
Yes.
No other women, no prostitutes, no like drinking, gambling, going out at night. And she's like, and you know what, Tony? These are some rules. These are rules that you're going to stick to or you're out. He's like, all right.
I mean, can you imagine? First of all, she hangs it on the refrigerator. Can you imagine if like someone comes over and is like, "Oh, no prostitute"? Like you have to write that down. No prostitutes. Like John was like, "What if someone came over and it was like, no prostitutes?"
The other thing they do
like,
on Love After Lockup is they zoom in on her overly stuffed ashtrays. Like she never cleans them out. She never dumps them, and they love showing how much she smokes.
Or she cleans them every day, which is even worse. It's like even more terrifying that it just fills up every day. I'm always worried about that big split in her lip that because of her lips are so dry.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for that to crack open in the middle of an episode.
She's got really dry lips and really bad teeth.
Because if you guys are smokers out there, guys, just watch that show and hopefully it will deter you from ever smoking again.
Now,
it's not going
Michael,
well.
the other Michael, this Michael, he's got his wife, Sarah, and his girlfriend, Megan. But Sarah found out because she pays for his phone, that he is calling all these different women. And he's like, don't talk to me about my business. Stay out of it. Hey,
God,
what's
he's
up with
so,
your
like,
business?
not to be mean, but he's so fucking dumb, that guy.
And he's like,
Drives me crazy.
He's not that dumb. He's not dumb at all. He's on Life After Lockup. He's on his second season of a hit reality show. He has a baby mama ex-wife that takes care of the kids. His 2 kids are gorgeous.
Well, yeah,
he
the
has
kids
a
are gorgeous.
girlfriend that's also on the show. And then he's got all these other women that are now sending him money.
They send him money. Like she found out, like she could see like the app or something where they send him all this money. I'm like, why are you sending him money? There's now some girl in Florida that's like
because they all think they're the only ones. And so then
don't they watch the show?
I guess they have not seen the show.
I mean,
and they're not listening
when
to
I
Juice
say
is
dumb, I guess I mean because he's like cheats on everyone, and then he gets mad when he got so mad when Megan like made out with someone, and he's like, if I can't trust you, it's like trust like, and then he goes off and he goes and sees her. He hasn't seen his kids for like 6 months, and he goes straight to see his bitches or whatever instead. That's what I mean by dumb.
We just had.
But I guess he's savvy.
I had somebody write me a story, which I'll read later, but it had to do with a similar thing where this girl met this guy and he, really swept her off her feet. And then he was traveling to another country and he called her. He's like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this country. I need you to send me this amount. And she found out he had like 2 other women sending him money as well as his mom.
Oh my God.
All with the same stories. And that's what my interview from a really long time ago with my friend and a couple other people, that they realized they were all dating the same divorced dad that liked to paddleboard in Manhattan Beach. And he would use the same tactics. And it was always, he'd see the girl that he was dating. She thinks he's the only one. He comes on really strong. So you're like, finally, someone gets how fabulous I am because they're so into you. And then he'd be like, oh my God, I have a business dinner. And my stupid son took off with the car and my wallet was in the car. I mean, I can't show up to this business dinner without anything. Do you have like $200 or $300 just so I can like get my share of the dinner? Oh, of course.
Oh my God.
And then based on where they were financially, like someone that didn't make a lot, he'd ask for $300 or $400 from. Someone that was middle line, he was like, "Hey, do you think you could loan me $3,000 for like a couple weeks? I have this tax issue I have to deal with." And then if they were really wealthy, like living in a $2.5 million house, that woman, he broke down in tears and wanted $50,000.
And they give it to him?
No, she didn't, but a couple other people did. And then when I talked about it on the podcast, I had people reach out, and there was a girl in like I think in the Seattle area, and she had been sending him money through PayPal and all that for like over a year.
I mean, that's like the modern I'm stuck in Europe and I don't have my phone or any money scam. Like,
yes, like how could it be? And then, and then she was like, if you can't get a job there, why don't you come here and be here? And he never came, and they were never even a couple. He was just flirting with her. And then she heard my podcast, had no idea. But it was the same thing. One of the things was the son,
That's crazy.
Imagine you're the son and you're like, everyone sees the son and they're like, God, dude, why are you taking off with your dad's car with his wallet in it all the time? Like, it was those same stories, all the same thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, don't give money to guys.
Oh, then he owed like, he rented a place and he blamed his bad credit on his ex-wife, so someone let him move in. And then he did like a Michael Keaton Pacific Heights movie where he just stayed there for like 6 months rent free till the sheriff kicked him out.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Is he? Where is he now? Where is this guy now? Hopefully.
Oh, I know where he is now because
really?
somebody sent me his new girlfriend's social media.
And does she not know?
From what this
is like a
person
dirty
told me,
John, but like
it is like a
not
dirty
as-
John, but he's not a murderer.
Yeah.
And he's done. There's no crime. It's just he's a serial dater that
and a scam artist.
yes,
but
that borrows money and you may never see it returned.
Right.
And he acts like you're the only one and you're not. Of course, this girl apparently does know some background because somebody that let me know like warned her. But it is straight out of Dirty John. She's blonde. She's put together. She's probably like early 50s. Has a couple kids that are like in their 20s. And
you're gonna have to show me
on
after
her
we get off
social
here.
media, she is just he's on it and she's like they're traveling the world and she's saying like, I'm so blessed that you chose me. I've never been happier. And I'm like, I think it's true. I don't think she has ever been happier. You know, I'm sure he is like everything.
Does she have a lot of money? Like,
I mean, I just watched Dirty John the other day, like, because I like love Dirty John is one of those things I saw it on the plane. And it's one of those shows. Sometimes movies are like this for me and sometimes like a series. I only like the first couple episodes. I like it when they meet. I like it when he's making her the smoothies. I like seeing the Newport background.
you don't want to see it fall apart.
No, I don't like it when they like flash back to his first wife, and I don't like it when he's trying to like kill the daughter.
Right.
I like it when he's like, you know, being cute Eric Bana.
Right. That's
so,
fair.
and then I'm like, oh, just enjoy, and I see how it can happen, and I see how you're like, oh my God, but he's fun, and you don't want to research it. You don't want to know the truth.
Yeah.
You want the date to continue.
Just
you
live
want
blindly.
That weekend. I mean, even on a lighter note, I think we've all dated someone where you know it's not going anywhere, but you're like, oh, but it's the weekend.
Yeah.
And
I
I
can have
still,
a date
I still want to like wake up on Saturday and go to Pilates and get and then start getting cute at 5, knowing I have like a Saturday night date. You just don't want to give that up and like accept that little fun last 6 weeks of your life is over because you know he's.
And if he's that smooth at like getting you to think that you're like the center of his universe, then you're like, well, maybe he did that before, but with me it's different, is what she's probably like telling herself.
Or even like the love bomb thing where people say guys like love bomb you, where it's just they're come on so strong. They're calling you all the time. When can I see you? When can they? Well, this guy, he wasn't working. So he was able to see like 4 girls all the time because the mom one he would see in the day when her kids were at school. The other one that worked the regular job he'd see at night. The other one that had a more flexible schedule he'd see around 4 in the afternoon. Like
right. Right, like he was able to do it. Yeah. And he probably knew. He probably had to arrange it that way.
And so when
That's
I see
crazy.
this guy with this new woman, I'm like, you know, could this be it for him? She's attractive. She has money. Could he behave and be loyal to her? But the girl prior to him looked just like this girl too. And she had a really good job. And she was in a different part of Southern California. And because someone else sent me that. And he's not with her anymore. So did he start to cheat on her and find someone else?
Right.
Why wouldn't he be happy with her for the rest of his life?
Or maybe
'Cause they're
she
never
found out about him and broke up with him.
But I also think someone like that is never going to, because the thing that they get off on is the chase.
And they'll ruin it eventually. Like,
Yeah.
eventually they'll do something that, like, you know.
Like even Dirty John, he started to get weird and possessive. He said weird things. He couldn't stay sweet and charming like he did in the beginning.
No, eventually
the weirdness shows.
Or the person is like, wait, why do you keep borrowing so much money from me? Why does your son always have your credit card or whatever? Like, eventually.
Why is your wallet at this point? Why no? But I think he wouldn't use that twice on someone. I'm saying he used that on you know.
Yeah, that was one of his things.
Yes, that was one of the things. Let me see what time. Where are we? Okay. All right, let's wrap it up.
Oh, that always goes by so fast.
Well, we can talk. Is there anything else? I really want to get into your dates, but is there anything else? Is there anything else juicy, breaking news or anything?
Oh, wait, but on Life After Lockup, I want to say.
Okay, well, let's wait. Bring it back. Let me turn it back on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
I want to say on Life After Lockup that Amber, the redhead,
Yes.
When I found out about her past, I really, really like her, and I just want her to be okay.
We'll
I
just
just
tell
wanna say- I
people
don't know if
about
that's
her.
juicy.
Besides her having long, beautiful red hair.
Yes.
I really like her too.
She came across very different. I mean, obviously she'd just been in prison, but she's always been like
she went to prison, but she
cool.
went to prison because she was like a runaway
Yes.
and a drug addict.
Yes. And her mom and she got pregnant, but she was like 13 and like a 30-year-old got her pregnant. 13 or 16, something like whatever it was, she was underage. And she had, and that's why she had to put a baby up for. When I found out all this stuff, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
2 babies up for adoption.
Like, you don't have much of a shot that way, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like really rooting for her. I know that's not juicy or not, but I'm just saying. I just want everyone to root for Amber now.
Yeah,
I like her.
I root for her too. Like, you know what? We should reach out. I wonder if I could talk to her.
That'd be awesome. I feel like she'd be a good guest too because she's just like, she seems to have like a good sense of humor, but then she's also very self-aware and she wants to get her shit together.
Clint and
no shot.
And his queen, what does he call her?
His goddess.
His goddess. He calls her his goddess. She has really struggled with the meth.
I know. I feel bad for her. And then the eating disorder thing. What was we discussed
what part?
this?
No, what was that part?
She was in. He went to visit her in jail.
Yeah.
And she was wearing like this like vest or something.
Oh yeah. Why was she wearing a bulletproof vest?
I don't know. I didn't under. And she goes, I have to wear this because of the eating disorder. Like I don't know what that meant. I don't know. I meant to Google it and try to find out what that means. Like, why do you have to wear? I don't know if it's just so people know and to keep an eye on you. Like, it's like some kind of like scarlet letter of like.
I'll tell you about love after lockup. There is some fun to it, but get ready. It's also very depressing.
It's pretty depressing, especially like her because you're just like she's a serious. I mean, you could when you see her from like the first time to now. When she to how thin and just like fucked up she looks, it's just
she's
sad.
depressing. Yeah. I like this couple. This is what are their names?
I forget.
Oh my God, she's Mormon from Utah.
Yeah,
she has 3 kids. We don't know who the father is of any of them, but she just revealed that
the youngest,
the husband now that was in prison for 14 years. He is the father of her youngest because when she was visiting him 7 years prior to him getting out, she was his regular boo that visited him. They gave some guards some money, and he turned around. It was the same guard that was in charge of Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
He turned around, and then they went into a closet and got her pregnant, but they never could reveal to anybody, including the producers of the show, because what he did was a crime. So now he's officially off of probation, so now they can tell the world that he committed a crime in prison by having sex with her when he wasn't supposed to.
They can't go back and
No, I guess not.
No.
And so they're like, let's tell. This will get us another season. And
they told the 3 kids, they took him out to ice cream or something.
Yes,
and told them all.
The older boy didn't seem to care. The younger girl, I was like, okay.
I know, but I'm like, you just found out that's your real dad. And she was like, I mean, it's kind of cool to know at least.
But
but
the
I'd
older
have a bigger
girl
reaction.
was pissed.
Yeah.
And the older girl was mad because she felt like her mom had deceived her by not sharing that all
and
those
that
years.
she told her friends first. She was mad that her mom told her friends before telling her. Because her mom told her girlfriends at some Mormon party.
Right, which also I was like, I thought she was supposed to be so Mormon or whatever.
And they got real judgy. And then she was mad, like, why would you tell your friends before you'd tell me?
Right.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of fun. Like they're kind of fun.
Yeah, they're
and then
entertaining.
Lacey and John and Shane are kind of fun.
Yeah.
Shane looks like he has hair plugs, but he doesn't.
It's just I love you so much.
She's
always like
she's got really bad lips.
I just really love Shane, and I don't want him to be okay.
She did not go to a good person to get her lips filled.
No.
And look, nothing wrong with getting your lips filled, but you can't when it looks ducky like that.
Yeah,
like,
you got it.
Yeah, she is like that a lot. I want us to be together forever. And I really think, but I'm also very worried about John. And if John's a 33-year-old, right? And Shane is a 21-year-old.
Yeah, and then he went to
I need to know if John is the father of my youngest baby. And he wasn't.
Right. And then he went back to jail, but now he's out
That'll be
again.
fun for when those kids watch this.
Yeah.
They still don't know who their dad is. And then the 21-year-old gets his first job, which granted, he went to jail at like 15, so no, he hasn't had a job. And he's like, I'm really excited. I'm a fire watcher. I just watch to make sure that a fire doesn't start.
Sounds like a great job.
And if it does start, then I tell somebody.
Yeah. I don't think he even has to put it out. He just has to like sound an alarm.
It was his first day. I don't know if it's going to work out.
Hopefully he stays awake. Like, I feel like that would be a boring job and I'd fall asleep right when the fire started. That would be my luck.
They made him a lunch and he had a little hard hat and he went.
Yeah. And they wrote Shane Daddy on the lunches or something. Yeah. Daddy Shane.
She does a thing like where it's like for my special fans only. Like I think it's like kind of like a bit of a webcam paying for, and I think the two of them
She shows her butthole.
Yeah, and I think they like make out a lot and stuff, and you can pay to see
Really?
it. Yeah, I think they're like a couple now doing.
Wait,
like,
I got weirdly
sexual
excited.
stuff.
I said really like I'm gonna go look.
I do think they have like crazy chemistry. Like I don't really mind them like getting horny on the camera.
I know. Oh, there's some couples that I can't watch make out, but those two they don't.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Sarah, you're going to talk about a lot about love this weekend when you go to Cleveland.
I am.
Can you tell everyone?
I'm going to be at Cleveland at Hilarities Comedy Club. I believe it's pickwickandfrolic.com.
It is
the website. February 13th through the 15th. Come for Valentine's Day, even if you don't have a date. Bring a friend or come by yourself. It doesn't have to be. It's like I was single for a long time. I'm married now. Wide variety of material.
Absolutely.
To please everyone. And it's always fun. I think the Valentine's shows are always super fun.
I, too, am doing some Valentine's Day shows. 2 on Friday, the 14th, and 2 on Saturday, the 15th, in San Antonio, which is real romantic place to go. Be with your loved one, the Riverwalk. And super fun weekend again to go see a little love. So even if you have other plans on the actual Valentine's Day or you don't have a love this weekend, you definitely should have plans.
Yes.
And going to see comedy in Cleveland or in San Antonio is the thing to do. And you, at my show too, you can bring your husband, your gal pal, your coworker, or you could go alone and have a blast.
Or go on a prisoner website, pick up a prisoner. Oh, no, they can't go with you.
They can't go with you,
right.
But you could tell them about it after on the phone.
True. During their one phone call.
Sarah, you've been a real delight.
Thanks, Heather.
We've discussed a lot, and I'm excited to watch The Bachelor and see.
Oh, yeah.
If he, A, had trouble with reading, B, if he got someone pregnant, or C, if he's really dating a producer.
What if it's all of the above? What if the producer's pregnant?
I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. We've cracked the case.
He
because
hooks
that
up with
would
the
make
producer
sense.
on the side.
They would have boned before the whole process starts. He's still winking at her. She would absolutely know she was pregnant
by the
2
end.
months later or 6 weeks later.
Because he would have met her during Hannah's season.
Yeah. And the parents would have met her when she went to their vow renewal when she was walking around with her walkie-talkie.
There is a picture with her with the whole family somewhere.
But they also were seen at the airport recently together.
And Kelly, our detective, said that she also read that they were seen, him and the cute brunette producer. And the producer is adorable. Like, she could be a contestant.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
She looks like a little spinner. She looks like she's a size 2. She likes to go to Soul Cycle. She is tiny. She's smaller than him.
A spinner.
Yeah, she got brown hair. She's got a cute face.
Is it a
She
spinner like
blonde? I thought. Would you pull up that picture? Is that not a brown ponytail in her hair?
I thought it was brown.
I thought it was
a
brown
brunette.
too. Maybe Kelly's got her shit mixed up.
No, I.
Anyway, they were seen at the airport together.
I'll go to her. Well, we'll go after this. No, I'm gonna investigate. What if I just cracked it? What if that's it? What if the producer got pregnant?
That is it. That's what I'm going with.
Me too.
The producer's pregnant. You
Yeah.
heard it here first. This is all makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that's when the mom says, "Go get our girl back."
Yeah.
The girl that we met when you were on your other date with the other person and we were having our vow renewal. Oh,
she
okay.
was
It's
blonde.
blonde, but it's got like the brown roots.
Maybe I saw a photo when she was also brunette one time. Maybe she changes. it.
Yeah. Didn't the guy on Survivor, though, the host of Survivor, also marry a contestant or get with her for a long time?
Well, yeah. And then you remember also on Married at First Sight, one of the experts ended up with one of the contestants. One of the experts.
And so what happened to them now, though?
I think they're still together. I don't know if they're still together, but I know
she
wasn't.
continue.
No, because everyone was like, well, what if she's always trying to fuck my
Yeah.
guy? Like I forget, it was like, I don't want to say what, I think it was maybe It was the blonde one who's not
Okay,
on it.
wait,
Anyway,
like a
but she
conflict
hooked
of
up with-
interest.
yeah.
Okay. So I was with some of my friends this weekend, and they were telling me one of them is okay. I might have to change this a little bit, so just make a little mark. But I just heard about someone doing a dating service, and it's this girl, and she's like, I will hook you up. You know, they get to see each other first, but the woman then is like, hey, would you like to meet Susie? Susie, would you like to meet John? You know, and then then she sets it up almost like an agent would set up an audition. Like she's like, what are your days that you're free? What are your days that you're free? Okay, you guys are meeting 4:00 at the wharf. You know, this is
Yeah.
when you're meeting. So she kind of makes those dates happen because, you know, people know when they start to meet on dating stuff that they talk too much before they meet. If they, you know, it can kind of kill it or whatever.
Right.
So she does the groundwork. But what I found out in talking to my friend who's seeing this woman is that she's single too. And she's on the dating apps. And that is how she's getting potential people for her clients. Doesn't that sound like a little bit of a conflict of
Yeah.
interest? Like, yes, she goes out to the bars and she approaches people. And then it's like, if she doesn't click with them, I think, because why wouldn't she take the one that she's clicked with?
Right.
Then she'll go, hey, would you be, I
Yeah, and
have
it feels like
I have a lot
it's-
of friends you should meet, or I'd run this dating service. And my friend said that when she was on the dating sites, that she would often get approached by professional matchmakers that would say, hi, I got, you know, they'd get their information. So that's how they find, like, oh, this girl's a cute girl. She makes some money. She seems successful. I'll go hit her up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just like with a realtor where it's like you walk into an open house and you write your name and then someone's like, I know you didn't want my house, but can I show you some other houses?
Right.
Because obviously you're looking.
Yeah. I mean, I
So
guess it
it's-
makes sense, but it seems a little like.
The
a
fact that
mistrust.
she's single too, like I guess if I was a matchmaker, it would make sense. Like, are there matchmakers making?
But then wouldn't you be like,
false-
well, why don't you like him if you met him? What's
Right.
wrong with him? Why
No,
are
but
you
I'm saying,
sending him up
I-
with me?
Right. But if I was a matchmaker and I wasn't looking for anyone and I was married, I do think it would make sense to
Yeah.
almost make like fake profiles and stuff to get on the apps. So because that's your pool of people.
Right. But
How
then,
else are you going to know who's single? They're not all hanging out at bars. They're hanging there. They're
But then
all
you're
declaring to be
misleading.
single. What?
Oh, but then she's just contacting them.
Then
and
you
saying-
contact them. It's like finding. It's exactly that. It's like finding everybody that looked up, you know, what the houses were selling in their area. If you like, and
Right.
you could go. Oh, okay. They're
I mean, I
looking
guess it
thinking
makes
about
sense.
selling.
That's pretty smart.
You're welcome. Just gave everybody another business idea.
Here you go.
There you go. Good luck. And when people are approaching you, out of the woodwork, saying, "Would you like to want me to help you be your matchmaker?" Know that they probably found you on Bumble.
Yeah.
Good luck. Thanks, Sarah. Everyone follow Sarah. She's hilarious. Sarah at Sarah Colonna.
Yeah.
And your website for the tickets.
Pickwickandfrolic.com. It's
Okay.
Hilarities in Cleveland is the club.
Thank
Come
you.
see me.
Love you.